gosh. Okay, this one here. Oh, hello. It's and I heard different word. So I hate, the dog. I don't hate the dog. That's not what I meant to say. The dog, you know, but he did. He's already had his walk, and it's kind of wet and rainy out. But it's kind of like the other day. I kind of thought, maybe he's telling me sometimes I should actually pay attention to him and not podcast. But you know what? I can't pay attention to our dog all the time. We do pay good attention to him. So basically, welcome. Basically, welcome. And now, I have one reminder about the topic, and the rest is kind of vague. But and I do have a couple other things to do today. But even though it's gloomy out here, I woke up relatively quickly. I mean, technically, I've been up for an hour, but I laid awake in bed for another almost hour or two, and the time sometimes can fly. It doesn't feel like that, right? But I was in my head. But the thing is that I really wanted to get back to sleep. I really, it doesn't often happen, but I think one of the things is when you're not distracted with other things, um, you know, your brain will say, okay, you're laying here and you're just laying here, and maybe you're trying to sleep, but I want to say things. So then it starts to tell you stuff, right? Um, um, and it could just be a social thing. It could just be also, yeah, I think I don't mind this guy, and I think he's probably fine, but I still don't know him very well yet. So I want to just have a friend with me. I don't know. They could have just been talking. What are you up to today? No, I'm going to the festival. So, anywho, it's all good. I thought that I had explained that one thing that you just asked about um, previously, but I guess I didn't. So there, now I have. um, so one thing is kind of up in the air, and you know what? And the dog actually didn't get up when I did that. Sitting in the window. What was this? 8:37. Um, so I know that aphantasia was one of the topics, talking about our life journeys. Whatever we might want to talk about, because there's there's power in that. Um, I'm just trying to decide if I want that light on. I had it briefly on, the one for this room actually. I had it briefly on, and that's why I'm so awake, because I was technically laying awake for a while. I just have to remember to locate my socks later. But I um I found it too bright, so I put the one on in the other room. I guess, yeah, the door's open, but it just wasn't coming. I mean, maybe I'll turn that off and turn that on later. No, so- Um, so I'm just kind of watching. Really, I mean, I know I do want to check this one, but um, so sorry for the bit of a slow and distracted start. I mean, this isn't scripted because I would struggle to follow a script. I feel like. Um, I would certainly likely veer from it, and I might also, my eyes may kind of jump ahead or whatever, or fall behind. Sorry, but bad joke. Sorry, I was just a bit distracted. It's not that my plans aren't happening for the day, like all um, but um, there's been some additional things. But she's more active in the text in the morning than I expected her to be. This new friend of mine. Um, so I don't want to be too slow with this. I do feel though, even though I'm fairly awake and I should have some coffee and it's got the perfect cup for a day like today here. Um, Something about on a cloudy day being each other's sunshine, essentially, which I almost feel like could possibly be a lyric in a Bob Marley um, song, which has some irony. Um, I'm not sure if I thought I made a decent coffee. I kind of would rather eat something with it. I've had a little, but I might have make some pizza before I go, so I got to focus on that. Um, I'm expecting a phone call, but I'm just not exactly sure when. And I'm guessing that I would hear back from the other person connected to that before I would get the phone call, but I could be wrong. And then I got something else to quickly do, and then we'll go from there. Um, you know, um, I'm not that uncomfortable meeting new people. I do like it. Um, it's just I do like one-on-one things. Uh, it can be easier to. And then everybody's got their own opinions about each other, So, but they can differ, I suppose. It's true. What was I gonna do? There was something else. I was it just. Yeah, no. I think I will put this light on, and maybe this doesn't need to be open because that's being so good. just letting in damp air anyway. So I'm going to try and cover a few topics and probably wrap this up by 9. I'm thinking. Yeah. But I have someone I've fairly recently met. I keep saying, of course, I'm not saying this to the guy with no filter. Um, that might those things might remind me. So, um, um, I was also hearing what sounded like music being played upstairs, but so this is very interesting. I feel like, sorry, I was so distracted. I don't know. It may sound weird, but well, for a while I didn't have a cell phone. It's not that I didn't have other things to distract me, but when I'm focusing on this screen, I'm focusing on this screen. Of course, it's nicer when there's people here, and even nicer when they're sticking around and chatting. I did have a realization about that the other day, though. There might be some people that, whether they're looking at the numbers or statistics and making an opinion that maybe they may or may not be right, um, they may think, well, I can stay and listen for a while, and I'm curious, or I want to, be supportive. And maybe they intend to like it, but it doesn't stick or whatever. But they may say, but I don't really have time to start a conversation. I can't believe in all the videos and the realizations I've had that I hadn't thought of that, but it could be the case. Um, but now, if she happens to see this particular friend, she sounds like she's quite busy. So, although I don't know, maybe she'll play it in her car while she's driving, just because she's curious to know more about me. But then again, we met through someone who she knows that we really get along with, one of her relatives actually, and so I think that she would probably think, if this person says that I'm a good person, and she has liked me upon first meeting me, that I probably am, and I try to be. you know, um, Actually, being quite honest, I don't even really feel like well, you always have to try in life, or there's always going to be things to kind of work through in life. Um, that was weird. I thought the dog just made a noise, but he's still just laying there normally. I sort of do want to have the radio on lightly in the background, though. It's ironic. This particular friend I was mentioning, the day I met her, I got her business card, and it's sitting over there, almost under some books, actually. And I hadn't really realized that, but there it is. Okay, so I'm just a little bit worried that that might be too loud. That's the thing, because YouTube won't like that. So I know I said I was going to go till 9, but that's only 10 minutes away from here. But she's not going to be picking me up till like 12. So it's only 10 to 9 now. So um, um, so basically, um, okay. So we have it flickered, it flashed, it showed a one at the top briefly, then it went, but then it came back right away. So I'm distracted, a little bit ADHD. Well, I am ADHD, but so aside from the topics, and Doug just made that noise again. Usually, if he's noisy when I'm podcasting, he's like right around me and he's staying over there, which is mildly triggering, which could be a topic, talk through, work through triggers. Because, and in fact, we were talking about cats that we had the other day, and one cat that we had, its last day alive, it kind of went over there and I guess you could say kind of collapsed. Um, 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 yeah, but you know what? It's also cool because, you know, um, 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 I got up and that's the other thing. Sometimes when I get up, the dog gets up and like kind of follows or whatever. I got up and I thought I turned that down, but it still sounds kind of not loud, but like for YouTube standards, any quieter, and it's not on, I would say. But anywho, yeah, I'm more awake than usual. One, because I'm having a fairly enjoyable conversation with somebody, and well, I already said. Anywho, and about that conversation, there is a couple things I might want to bring into this about that, because part of the title, I'm just going to put here. And that's ironic, but how ironic will it be? I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna want, but I think she's gonna. Oh, and I didn't grab the phone, which is closer to where the dog's laying. I don't even know if it's on mute. I kind of think maybe I should grab it though, just in case, because it's certainly a bit more of a back and forth. Not that I'm not going to have that today. That's the thing. I'd rather have it on a day when but during during the festival, 2 bars charged. Neither of the bases is really charging very well. Um, I I do have that. Oh, Lisa. Anywho, so um, so but like I'm just trying to decide. Okay, there is one thing I might still talk about with this phone meeting that I have coming up, but maybe not here. Um, and then aphantasia. I mean, I don't know. It's. I think a lot of people probably have it and don't realize it. I'm still learning about it, but I mean, it's it's very kind of in some ways basic. Like it has one definition, and then there's kind of different kind of definitions within that, um, which kind of fits with one of the topics I was going to mention. Um, and I'm not being specific about anybody. Uh, but I'd really rather wait until there are people here. But I know I put the comment there, which will show afterwards too, that this started around the 18 mark, more focused. So I kind of want to live up to that. So yeah, I just have to make sure that I'm like at the moment I don't really feel like, I mean, pizza's one of those foods I feel like that could be breakfast or lunch or dinner, you know. So I mean, it's not restaurant pizza, which is almost better than the frozen kind, but I will probably make the latter uh, in a bit. Then I have that call, but I don't know exactly when because I've shuffled it around, or I'm trying to. And then, um, so, so yeah, so I don't know if there's a whole lot else to say about aphantasia until I like part of why I mentioned it, other than the fact that I realize I probably have it, um, and that there's somebody else, just kidding, is that YouTube showed me something on the way to doing this one, so about it, and I started to watch it, and about 2 or 3 minutes in, I started getting a text messages from someone, and um, next thing I know, I'm not really paying attention to it. I mean, sometimes I can divide my attention, sometimes I can't. Um, I do want to quickly get ready, but yes, it's nice. It's nice to make new. It's nice to make connections. And I'm thinking of, yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah. So like that's something I kind of want to talk a little bit, just briefly about, like kind of how how it kind of has transpired. But I also, again, I wish there was somebody here. I feel like I'm just talking to nothing. No offense. No offense to anybody who comes in after this is posted and watches. Um, but this is a bit in, like I said, I'm not going to say anybody's name, uh, including mine, actually. Uh, but um, now on the top, and I do apologize also in advance. I realize, like, I always intend to kind of stick with the title as the theme of the video, and that makes sense, right? And I think I usually do, or mostly, but every now and then somebody might tune in expecting that it'd be on topic, and to them it won't seem like it is, and maybe it really won't be, but I do my best. There was an interesting that kind of made me think of an interesting little phrase that I don't know if I made it up or not, but then I kind of thought about the phrase a bit more and I thought, but I do kind of like it. Each day, each show up is an opportunity to be better or more well. Let's just say that. But to be gentle with yourself, you know. Um, the other thing, and there's something that's more specific to the festival, but I can't think of what it was. So that's fine. But yes, I did want to talk about, or I think I'll talk about, and then we'll just see where this goes. But I don't know. Next time I have to get up, I'll maybe put the pizza in. Then after I've eaten in that, and I probably won't eat on camera. Wouldn't be terrible, but I probably won't. Then we'll go from there. With the other things, we'll start to unfold, and it's amazing. Even though I kind of didn't get almost 2 hours or about 2 hours of sleep that I would be usually getting, and it's kind of gloomy. The sky's trying to get bright. Lately I've not really liked. I just feel so drained when it's like really hot and bright out. Um, that just could be my health, whatever. But yeah, basically, and actually some of this may be yeah. Um, but then if you put this up in comments, then you talk about. I don't think we should be mostly, as long as they're in respect and trying to be a good person and such and such. I don't really think um again, like, but like, I don't know if you talk about this. What's his face? He doesn't sound religious. I don't know if we need to. Like, I'm just gonna talk about things I've seen, things I might want to see. That one other little thing maybe, but other than that, like, I don't know. And I mean, it can be a little bit about him too. But I mean, last time he says, "Well, good." I mean, because it is a program where people try and be a little bit. I said, "Can I say a little bit, about what's been going on for me?" It's like, okay, yeah, sure, of course. And then he says, "Well, it's been pretty boring, but something about mushroom farming." Nothing needing any deep riveting advice around. Um, but I wonder if I should call her. Just this one person about something. Um, I can't remember. It's not getting to meet any of these people, but you know, they're younger, they're more hip. I hate to say it that way, but I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of it, but I don't hate it. I just think I maybe should do a quick call so that I can kind of. But then she's not going to know till she reaches the person. I don't need to plan anything else today. The thing is that this was something that was pre-planned. It's that kind of consistently a Monday thing, and it's recently started. And um, it just so happens that I have other things kind of going on. So I mean, I can certainly fit it in, and I'm excited to have the other stuff. But uh, right, hi, Justine. Colton. Corey. Just wanted to make sure that I think I recognize your voice too. Just was briefly rolling on YouTube, but I just wanted to make sure you got my email so that you can coordinate it with Mark to hopefully contact me earlier, if possible, today. That was basically what it was about. Yeah, because of the festival and a plan, that can really only happen during the. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully it'll work out. If you want to call, email me and let me know if you've reached them and what you can arrange. Thank you. And she's got my number. Okay, so sorry about that. Brief distraction. Okay, so yeah, I know when I was trying to fall back asleep, I was thinking of some stuff, and I guess you could say it was things that could be about in the person left my journey. But I don't. At the moment, it kind of feels like I'm had those thoughts today that I had, and now I've kind of. I hope our dog's okay. The noises he's making and being over in the. Well, my spouse, I found out today, was putting treats in a previously used tube for storing pot. I didn't know if that was a good idea or not. And our dog has been licking his one or two front feet a lot lately, and we don't know what that's about. He seemed to have stopped for a while. He looks like he might be coming this way. He was kind of walking around by the window there. Um, because this thing when you're with other people, it unfolds as it's going to, but but I'm not going to be the only one talking, and I wouldn't want to be either, really. But I don't know. There is something kind of to that, I suppose. But so but I don't know. I just don't want to tie myself up. But in the show, I won't be. Are you okay, son? Standing there by the big window. Lots of people have big windows. And he's just looking at me. You okay? That doesn't know what to do for him. I mean, he seems like he's okay. He seemed like he was mostly okay this morning, other than this foot thing. Anywho, okay, so I have some things to do, and I need time to do them. The only thing is, my one plan, it's not. It can only be Mondays, by the sounds of it. So, um, but then this other thing, the specificities, and I don't want to change the plans that we're making. So, looks like the dog's okay. What I'm gonna do, and it looks like he's maybe gonna say, what I'm gonna do, and it's been pretty quiet here, but is talk about a couple of topics quickly, and then maybe a little bit, like as I say, I mean, I didn't really say much about aphantasia because I didn't really have a whole lot to say about it yet. I don't know if our mic's cooperating and recording music because there's been times when it hasn't been, and I don't have any song ideas. If nobody gives me any, and I don't know if I have that kind of energy this morning. It's a similar, I guess, kind of energy to use, but and I don't know. Like I say, a couple of topics have came up, so I kind of just want to mention them quickly in a conversation, and might later too. Um, Basically, and where did that shirt go? Oh, here. Basically, um, but yeah, I'll say the ones that are diehard fans of the person who we're seeing kind of tributed wear shirts with his image on it. Not that I hate his music, but anywho, labels. I feel like I said it in one of my recent videos. If you can accept your label and learn to grow within to it, whether it's something that's something you like about yourself or something that's a stress, hard, that you either dislike or struggle to cope with about yourself. Um, there is power in the acceptance part, I would say. So welcome to the person that just tuned in. At the moment, only one here. And I haven't been rolling super long, and I'm not going to be rolling much longer, but for a little while. And the person left. Anyway, so basically, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I mean, they are defining. Well, it wasn't on silent, so it's weird. I just looked over at the phone, and it had the number I thought that it just called showing, and I can't remember if anything was lit up, but I didn't hear a call come in, so I don't know. Anywho, my some people really dislike labels for whatever reason. My qualm or whatever about them is that there is a lot, and there is some that seem very similar to other things. Um, like again, I'm not saying who sent it to me, but um, I guess within that though, like the topic of there's a little bit of everything on here, and this is for the 18 plus crowd, I would say. The topic of polyamory, for instance, it's true. It's not just a sexual thing. It's true. I know that. I realize that, and I don't think of it that way either. I would. I'm tempted to say that often it's a component in most relationships that poly people would be finding themselves in. But I think that's what this friend is trying to say, is that you know, well, but you can be emotionally attracted to anybody, you know, or physically attracted to anybody. I mean, so I think what she's trying to say is that no, but that was about the label bi. She's like, well, not that way, but this way, which is there's an interesting element to that I don't really want to get into, but right now I'm potentially running into some of the same people. But if we're just going to the show, well, but yeah, I might, I don't know. Maintaining a certain style or vibe, I feel is. But then it's interesting because the one we went to the other day, I'm just gonna say I didn't quite, and it was probably well then he was on here, so and that was as dressy as it was. Um, but if it had been more, that would have been curious. But it was kind of intentionally that I didn't. Um, so I have to decide what I want my style to be today. um, like look wise, yeah, because come 12, well, I'm probably gonna need that gap between 11 and 12, and then also leaving that. Okay, yeah. So unless they don't start before then. Okay, so but she didn't see that, but she probably was like, I really have to stop texting and going and go. And then people, of course, ADHD people, ADHD people, and people with you know people multitask. But anyway, and I'm yeah. Um, it's just basically I'm just gonna say that somebody used the term heteronormative in conversation, and I think I have heard it. I think I have, but it made me think of another term, and when I said it, it didn't necessarily apply to everybody. I'm not saying who, but and basically, yeah. I don't know. It's let's see what it's been. Um, but yeah. It's you know being your true self, and as much as you're comfortable with whoever and wherever you are with, um, is important. Um, now, and there's been not very many people really here. Um, and I would hate, I know what I think I know what I'll say if it does kind of pick up and I have to wrap up, which would be terrible timing, but it or would be not the most ideal timing, but it all works out. Um, I'm just thinking, okay, well that can be in there. That could actually be in there while I'm showering. It's just a matter of when he's gonna go. So I don't think it'd be 9 o'clock. Um, I have to decide what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Um, Now, earlier when I said it didn't have a song idea, although there might be some stereotype to it, I also heard a name today that possibly could give me a song idea. Um, I don't know how much of this particular singer's stuff I know. I know she has a Christmas album. I think I know one or two other songs, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling that. Anyway, sorry, but the actual famous person, and I'm not like a top fan or whatever. Although you think it could be, but um, sorry, but I'm gonna try a quick little exercise. I wish people there was somebody here while I was doing this, and maybe somebody will show up. But this is also going to be for myself, I think, too. And the transcription may not be completely accurate if some things were not said super clearly. I was going to write and talk at the same time. Maybe I'll do that later. Uh, you know, one thing I felt that my dad was saying was that I don't have to have the big picture. Like I don't have to have the end goal. I can do it for myself and anyone else it touches along the way. You know, even if I have a specific goal. You know, uh, whatever it is, creating, sharing. Go hand in hand, kind of, right? But well, I didn't say to pick me up at this time, so she shouldn't be here at this time. Plus, I said I had something else first, but I thought I heard maybe it was just something going down the lane or the house making a sound. I don't know. Anywho, or angels. Anywho, I'm going to think of. It'd be great if I had like a theme or a topic idea to base this on, but I'm going to think of maybe let's say two. I was going to say three, but let's say two things that um, yeah, and maybe based on kind of sort of things that I am currently going through or thinking about. And let's try that. Um, love over war and fighting. And I'm trying to think if there was a specific age and where that really started to be my ideology. I mean, I would say from a pretty young age, like most of us, hopefully. I know I would say most of us, yeah. Um, you know, um, but I guess it'd be interesting to maybe talk in another podcast later about how that's kind of unfolded in my life. Um, the importance of good direct communication, uh, empathy, thinking about how someone else may interpret something, and doing your best to kind of express yourself in a neutral, I guess, sort of way. That's just isn't super recent, but it's just kind of a thought. And I guess I said I was going to just do two. I mean, it would have been great if there had been a bit more activity on this, but you know, it's kind of that kind of thing. It's hit and miss, right? Um, and I'm not sure if I can think of another one. I'm really not sure if I'm feeling like pizza, but I should have something and a bit more coffee, perhaps too. And I don't know what else I would have to get groceries soon. So that may be all. That may be all for this one. The dogs are calm, which is nice. Yeah, I think he's all right. Um, it's one of those things, you know. It's kind of sort of a rainy, wet day out, so you don't want to be like extra, like you have wet hair or whatever, and it's kind of refreshing as it is. But I think I'll have a really quick shower, just because I'll be in the car mostly, and I'm around other people. Um, yeah, but I just have to check something really quickly. I mean, I can do it at any point in time, but I'm just going to check it really quickly. But yeah, so basically, I don't know if there's anything else to say in this, to be honest. When is this happening again? I'm just curious. What is today? Monday? Okay. Maybe Saturday, depending on when the other one happened. Um, and what about this one? Sorry. Just looking at a festival program. Tonight. Tomorrow, maybe. It's interesting, maybe it's like, I just want to do it. So anytime I don't have to wear my prefer it. Kind of thing. Okay. Is it like right at the end of things here? Because I'm not coming across it, but I know I saw it. Okay, that's bizarre. What was it called again? Well, I saw it just last night when I looked online. I must just be missing it here. Sorry, I'm just looking through a festival booklet while I'm chatting here. I can't stay for too much longer, but if there's anything based on the title that you'd like to talk about, um, obviously there's been, okay, there. I kind of remember the one. So if I can find that and then find that, maybe it just had a different image than what I'm looking for. Well, I mean, I remember the image, but maybe it had more than one, is what I'm thinking. Or maybe it's in here. Anywho, I think I'm gonna get going because I might need a plan B if yeah. Anywho, bye for now.